Yet again, I was moved to make a video about Japan. Sorry I haven't made one in a long time, and I'm really sorry that it has to be on such a negative topic, and I'm really sorry about my hair. I was just watching a video about nagashi somen. Nagashi somen is a kind of noodle that runs down a path, and then you grab it and put it in your plate. I find it extremely unhygienic, and I'm not the only one. But the comments were all, of course, glowing. Oh, Japan is so clean and hygienic and everything is so perfect. And I just thought, okay, of all the things to be saying hygienic, nagashi somen is not hygienic. Like literally everyone puts their chopsticks in this running river of noodles and tries to grab them over and over. You can imagine how much spittle goes in there. And there was a comment under the video, the only negative one besides mine, which said it was unhygienic and a great way to get diarrhea, saying Japan's nature is being ruined. Of course, this comment was in Japanese. And I asked, by whom? By whom is Japan's nature being ruined? And the reply was by foreigners. Gaijin ni. And I thought, who put mercury in the rivers in Kyushu from the 1920s to the 1960s, resulting in Minamatabyo? Was that foreigners? There were 4 major pollution incidents in the Japanese industrial age, and none of them had anything to do with foreigners. I remember when I was in Japan, and again, I'm sorry this has to be a negative thing, but it has to be, and I'm going to keep my snappy angry mood because I'm snappy and angry. And the fact that foreigners buy into this bullshit, that it's us foreigners who are ruining Japan. There were 4 major pollution incidents in the 1960s, and I'm just taking one example of thousands. And all of them were obviously caused by Japanese industry in Japan. There were very few foreigners at that time in Japan. Okay. And I was just thinking about another thing. I had a friend from Kyoto, in Tokyo. I had a friend from Kyoto in Tokyo. And he said when he was a kid, his mom used to tell him to cross the street whenever he saw a foreigner because they might be bringing disease. And, for example, they thought that syphilis came from foreigners. Now, I have to tell you that the country with the highest syphilis rate among teenagers in the industrialized OECD nations is Japan, because Japanese people think, in general, they can't get an STD if they sleep with other Japanese people because Japanese people are clean. Well, being physically clean is not the same thing as not having STDs. Syphilis does not come from Europeans. In fact, syphilis originally came from North America, from Native Americans. And Native Americans were a lot more clean than Europeans. So it has nothing to do with being clean. Anyways, this idea that all bad things in Japan come from foreigners, it's very old-fashioned. It's the typical pollution is from outside, 汚いは外から来る, and inside is clean, and we have to keep inside pure. And I just don't think that a lot of the people who are visiting Japan these days have that in mind when it comes to the fact that a lot of people still think that way in Japan. A lot of people still think everything bad, all disease comes from the outside, and everything good comes from us. And that is a very problematic and annoying part of Japan. And it's something to be aware of if you're going to move there, because you will always be the source of polluted things.